All right, guys, welcome back into the 85. I was walking the streets of London and I ran into Carm, Nick, and Adam, and we just decided, know what, let's just do a show real quick. So we got the 85 coming in from London. Very excited about it. We're all a bit jet lagged here, but we're excited to bring this to you today. So a lot of fun.
This is commitment.
This
We're
is commitment.
3
yes.
hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Crying babies on our flight. I don't know who you had crying on yours, but it was quite a trip over here.
Yeah,
But we
yeah.
made it. We're in London, and the 85, as always, is powered by Ankin Law. Injury law made personal. They're here to help. Visit ankinlaw.com to learn more.
Wow. So I guess we'll start with being here, and
Yeah.
then we can go into the game.
Should we talk about how many power adapters we blew through
Yeah,
to get this show to you today?
Yeah, this hotel is not going to be happy with us with the amount of electricity we've burned through here. But that's all right. We're here and we're live now, so that's all that matters. But excited to be here. I've been looking forward for this trip for a while. I was excited that we got this London game this year. I was looking to do an international game. I haven't done one yet, so excited to be across the pond, as they would say, and in London, and been really enjoying the city so far. So it's been a lot of fun, and excited to see what this week brings for us, and obviously a big game coming up for us before the bye week as well.
How was the trip over? And is it weird, like you turn around from a game on Sunday and then the next day you're traveling?
So bizarre. I mean, obviously coming off the win helps a lot. So, we were all excited coming off that win, but then it was like right into straight packing mode. So I had to I didn't even thought about this trip literally until after the game. So, getting ready for the trip was a lot. So figuring out what I had to pack and getting the suitcase and then dropping off the check bag at Hallis and then going back home for a little bit, getting all the things I needed to for the flight. And then, obviously the whole flight over, all the boarding process and all that. Everyone was great. It was all good stuff, but definitely a long trip, but excited to be here and excited for the week ahead.
Yeah, give the fans an idea of like what the week looks like. So you guys, it's Tuesday right now. It's almost getting dark actually. Tuesday afternoon,
Right.
here in London.
Yeah.
I mean, we are right in the heart of London. The Tower of London's right over
Right.
that way, which you guys can't see, but we got like an old school, like typical. I already had 2 pints of Guinness at that
This
pub
is like
right there.
this is stereotypical of what you'd think it would look like, and it's awesome. You got some of the brick road and pavement. It's really cool. A lot of gastro pubs around. It's awesome. But for us for the week ahead, so we got in here. Today's technically our off day now. So we're off today. Tomorrow we'll start back up with some meetings. We'll get into our normal Wednesday stuff. We are doing a walkthrough instead of a full practice, which is great just because of all the traveling we've done. And, quite frankly, all the reps we've racked up now going into, what is this now? Week 6, going into week 6. So at this point, we've played a lot of football between camp and the first 5 weeks of the season. And so now it's, time to really take care of our bodies. So, props to coach for that, giving us the walkthrough there. But, those things will be really detailed, and we got to have a really good walkthrough day on those Wednesdays. So we'll have some more meetings there on the back end to go over some things. Thursday will be a normal Thursday for us, as if we were in Hallis. We're just doing it here. And then Friday, same type of deal. And I'm sure guys will venture back down here on Friday to go get something to eat and take it easy that night. And then Saturday is really letting the bodies rest. We'll do a little walkthrough. And then Sunday we'll play at 2:30 this time, which will be 8:30 back at home. And from what I understand, right after the game, we'll get on the flight and be on back to Chicago and be arriving back at about 2 a.m. So it'll be a long week, a fun week, but we're looking forward to it. And I think having the bye week on the back end of this really helps mentally speaking on that as well.
Yeah, you guys feel like you can still go all in this week.
Yeah, go all in, enjoy it, have fun with it. I think this is a cool team bonding opportunity as well, especially so early in the season. And yeah, you can just let it all out there on Sunday and, feel good about it coming back on the plane and then knowing that you have that whole week off for the bye week.
Have you been to London before?
This is my first time in London. I came to Europe last offseason. I went to Germany and Italy, which was awesome, but first time in London, and I'm loving it so far. I think this is a great city, and it's been a lot of fun so far. I've only been, when walk around for a few hours, but it's got a great vibe to it, cool feel to it. And yeah, I'm excited to explore a little bit more after we're done with this.
What was the number one thing you wanted to see?
I don't know if there was something like in particular. I think like the London Bridge, like walking over that was really cool, and just kind of checking out some of the areas, whether it was the Soho Shoreditch area. Yeah, just checking out the different areas and neighborhoods within the city. That's always a lot of fun. And I took the train coming in from where we were, which is I think is a fun part of it as well. And a few other guys did that as well. So
see, I love that because
yeah.
we were having that same debate coming from the airport.
Yeah.
Or like, do we just take an Uber? Do we take the train? And we have these big bags we're
Sure,
carrying around and stuff like that. But I was like, I'm a train guy.
Well,
like,
yeah, and they
got to
had
experience the city.
we had like shuttle buses coming from the hotel to London that we could have taken, but it was like let's get on the train. Let's see what it's about. And yeah, it's been really cool so far.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will talk more about this game coming up this week, obviously, a little bit later on in the show. But obviously, we got to talk about the game that just happened 48 hours ago.
Yeah, crazy. It feels like a week ago at this point for everything that we've been through. But yeah, 48 hours ago. Big win for sure. I think a game that we needed at home, and keep our streak of home games alive. I don't know where we're at with it right now.
It's 8 now.
8. That's pretty good. Yeah, you want to defend your home turf. We always talk about that. So, whenever we're able to do that, that's always a positive. And I saw another stat with the defense below 21 points for 10 straight games.
It's something like that. I don't know. I don't know that specific number, but yes, I've heard that.
So that's great too. I mean, obviously building upon what we've done last year defensively and continuing on this year, they continue to do great stuff with, how they're turning over the ball and, stopping the opposing offenses. They're doing a really good job of that. And then, for us offensively in this game, I thought the most complete game we've obviously played so far. Did a lot of good things through the air, run after catch stuff. The ground game was really good too. Just playing really good complementary football throughout the game. So a lot of good positives throughout the game there. That was really good to see. And when you got all three phases playing like that, that's the type of score you're going to get in a football game. So I thought it was a game that, on paper, we were more talented as a team, and it was on us to go do that and go put it on tape and go put it on the field, and I thought we did that. So we took care of business, and that's a good feeling, and I think that was what we did on this past Sunday is what we should have done, and I think when you're able to do that, that's a sign of growth and I think sign of a good football team.
I felt like the last 6 quarters going into this game, so really like halftime in Indianapolis through the Rams game, maybe things weren't perfect, but there were definitely signs of a sort of breakout offensive performance coming. What did you feel like clicked, or was the biggest reason why you guys were able to have that explosion offensively finally?
Yeah, well, it's hard not to start with the quarterback. It's just I think that's what this league's about. It's who you got under center and how is he operating. And obviously we all got to be really good around him. But at the end of the day, he's the guy that decides what to do with the ball, whether it's on a run check or on a pass play. He's the guy deciding where the ball goes. If it's a handoff or through the air, he dictates all of that. So I think he's played really high level football for the past however many quarters now that's been.
It's really been like the last 10.
Yeah.
If you look at the numbers, the first 10 quarters of the season compared to the last 10, it's night and day.
And I know. I mean, whoever watches stuff, maybe you felt he had some turndowns that he had in 2 against the Rams, but really efficient football. And what coach is always preaching is about the turnover battle, and we got to win that turnover battle. And no one is more in control of that or dictates that more than the quarterback position. And Caleb's done a fantastic job of taking care of the football. And I thought it was really cool to see him have this pass game of. He's super efficient with it, but you saw the passing numbers really climb up, and give a credit to all the guys that we got around him as well. So I think things have been clicking for him really well, and you just see his confidence growing really quarter to quarter that he plays, and you just see him as he keeps playing, he just keeps getting better and better, and it's been pretty cool to watch just through the first 5 weeks, just the growth he's had from week 1 to now.
Did you happen to see the clip that was going around of Coleman Shelton?
I did see that. My brother was laughing about that. That was hysterical. But that's kind of how we talk on the football field. Like it's all that going on. I don't know. I can't specifically remember what play that was or what time of the game that was in. But there's a lot that goes on, and those are the conversations that happen across the line of scrimmage.
I mean, I was obviously some type of run check or.
Right. Was Coleman mic'd, or was that like a?
That was just one of those games where whatever the boom mics were on the
I
sidelines were
gotcha.
really picking
It
up
just
the
picked it up. Okay.
throughout the game. We
Yeah.
could hear a lot of that, which I always
Well, that's
love.
cool. That's
Yeah.
cool for the fans. Yeah.
And so yeah, there was some type of pressure coming there, and I think Coleman just wanted to make sure that
We got effing fire, dude.
Caleb knew it was there, and he was like,
Yeah.
I know, and
Yeah.
then he delivered a pass to Roma Dunze on the play.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he seemed to I obviously don't know what was specifically happening pre-snap there, but
Yeah.
it seemed like whether it was Coleman telling him what he
Mhm.
needed to know, or maybe he did already know it, he figured it out, and
Mhm.
obviously it was a positive play.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And I think that's part of the communication aspect that we've been talking about for the past 4 weeks. That's continued to grow, and that we've been much better at across the line of scrimmage. So, but that's a cool little tidbit of kind of how we talk to each other. And obviously, no one's yelling at one another. It's just how we talk on the football field, and those are the type of moments that make it fun, though.
Yeah, and Caleb seems to have really, I mean, not let anything of that stuff phase him or anything.
No, he just wants to learn. He
Yeah.
wants to learn. He wants to be great. He wants to be the best to ever do it. Like, and he's not afraid to say that. But he knows that there's a process to that, and he just comes to work every day and has continued to get better and better, and is so receptive on the coaching and what he needs to do. But he's also not afraid to give his input on things and what he likes to do. And there was a lot of good positives there, and it was cool to see him kind of get in his comfort zone. And with the hurry up stuff, I think you've seen that over the past couple of weeks. I think that's something with the way that we're conditioned throughout camp that we can do to teams, and we can play up tempo and still execute at a high level. And I thought you saw that this past Sunday.
That seems to have sort of consistently been a moneymaker for you guys so far this season.
Mhm.
Is going up tempo, but you can't do it the whole game, obviously, for a number of different reasons. But it seems like Shane Waldron has picked the right spots here, especially recently.
Yeah, I think if you definitely got to time it out correctly, because you'll burn guys out if you're doing it too much. And sometimes, I mean, it is football, and if they get a quick 3 and out, and you only had the ball for 25 seconds, like that also plays into it too. You want to keep your defense rested as well. So yeah, there's spots where you got to pick it, but when you're efficient with it and you got them on your heels, so you just got to keep attacking. And I think in those scenarios, you're able to get up by a couple scores, and before you know it, you're up. You're up 3 scores in a ball game with a pretty good cushion, and you're like where you're sitting. So there's definitely some benefits to it, but like you said, you gotta kind of pick and choose when you do those type of things.
Well, an opportunity for you guys to get to 4-2 after this game in London this week, and we'll talk more about that game coming up. Typically, we would have a guest on here in the middle of the show, but due to some of the logistics with London and us putting this together, that wasn't possible. We're going to go a little bit of a different direction here.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm excited for this conversation, but I think
it'll be a good conversation. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can lead it off.
Well, first of all, I can guarantee this is the only place you're going to get a NFLPA rep.
Yes.
Talking to a PFWA. I'm technically a VP of our Chicago chapter.
Nice.
So that's the Professional Football Writers Association. And you guys may have seen that last week this sort of issue came up. It's sort of been brewing now for a while, and we've known about that, but it sort of went public last week with this idea that the NFLPA kind of wants the media out of the locker room, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And this is we kind of know this was coming. And then Ted Karras with the Bengals talked about it last week. The NFLPA came out with a statement on it, and really just this can get boring, so I don't want it to get boring. So just there is in the current media policy that everybody has to follow. You guys, we have to follow it on both sides. It is right now in the policy that players can request to do interviews outside the locker room. So I don't, some are calling that a loophole. I don't really think it's a loophole. It's in the language. And I certainly don't have a problem with that at all. If somebody wants to do an interview outside the locker room, fine, as long as we get the conversation. But this has kind of sprung a larger conversation I don't think is going to change here in the immediate about just getting the media out of there altogether. So that's just kind of where things stand. From the NFLPA side, like where you guys coming from on this? What's really the genesis of what you guys want and need?
Well, I've seen a lot of things of like, oh, well, they're doing this to limit access. And from a player's perspective, that's not our intention with it. And, maybe there's some other factors like maybe the teams that maybe would want that. But I'm just saying from a player perspective that we aren't looking to limit access. It truly comes from a place of just being very real, of discomfort of being in the locker room in kind of that safe space in a changing area with other people who are not partaking in that same type of deal. And there is a level of uncomfort to it, and I can speak to that. I do feel I've done this, and other guys do this. Will When you guys are in there, we'll go change in the bathroom in the stall. And to me, if you're having to do that, okay, there's something that's not right there. And I think that if you feel the need to go to the bathroom to go change, okay, then it's the locker room's not the safe space that we want it to be. And I can tell you this, that any coach that walks in when you guys aren't in there, any type of anybody, any type of coach that walks in there at any time, they are getting heckled for being in the locker room, because that's not their space. That's our space. So I do think I understand that it's been a thing for forever now. I mean, shoot, you always see. I've seen it forever when I was watching the Bears growing up, and in other sports as well. So I understand it's part of the custom, but I don't think that it's totally necessary. I think going forward, in some levels, I just think it's a little inappropriate. I don't think you guys need to be in there while we're changing, and it's not necessarily the guy that you're interviewing. Everyone, especially in our locker room, you guys are all great about letting guys change and be fully clothed when they do the interview. But it's the guys that are around that are feeling uncomfortable. Hey, I'm changing into my tub shorts, or I'm changing from a shower, or I'm taking my towel off, this or that. That gets a little weird, and it just becomes a little murky for some guys. So I understand the topics of the limiting access thing, and this is it's a good time for you guys to get to know us. And I think this is how we've built a relationship. I just think that there's maybe a better area to do that. And I think we were talking before, but whether that's during our lunchtime and you guys being able to be in a certain lunch area or whatever it may be, so that we can still have that type of interaction. You guys can still have those type of conversations, but keeping that locker room an intimate setting for the players. So, like you said, I don't think it's going to be a direct change right now. I think there's going to be a filling out process with it. But I would ask that, obviously, if any player asked to do an interview outside the locker room, that you guys would all respect that. Just because if that makes that guy more comfortable, I think that's what should be done.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone really has an issue
No,
with that on our side of it. It's more so just making sure that interview happens.
Absolutely,
and
and that's part of, and to be clear,
Yeah.
that's part of our written in our contract. We
Right.
have to talk to you guys, whether guys want to or not. And some guys, myself, I would put myself in this category. I'm more willing than maybe some other guys, but we all have to do it, and it's our duty to make sure that we do that. Because, and I will say this, you guys are our promoters of the game, in each of these towns and cities that we're in. You guys play a vital role in promoting the game and bringing the game to where it is today. And it's important that we still have these outlets, that you guys are still talking about football, because it's important to the growth of the game. And I think that just needs to be said as well.
And thank you for saying that, because I think that's part of the, because I've already seen, like, I saw the Ted Karras interview go up on Twitter last week, and almost every response, even from the fans, were like, well, yeah, they don't need to be in there.
Yeah.
They're I mean, I think
Yeah.
the public's mostly on the player side. Like, yeah, why,
Yeah.
what the hell do they need to be? But part of this is, and this is where, kind of speaking up for our side of this, is I don't necessarily care about being in your guys' locker room. We just care that the access is there at some point,
Absolutely,
somewhere.
yeah.
And our fear in this climate that is really, it doesn't even have so much to do with most of, 99% of your locker room right now was not even in the league back when we used to at Bourbonnais. We would be at the same lunch line as you guys, and we would sit on a separate side, but we'd at least have that interaction, and we would be able to stand out. The interview period was done outside the cafeteria in Bourbonnais. So as players were walking in or out, hey man, Charles Tillman, can I get you for
and I think
3 questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
And he'd say yes, or hey man, I gotta go eat real quick, but I promise I'll get you on the way out.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, that would be honored. And so we could at least build those relationships. And for the fans, they're like, well, why do you got to have those relationships? Well, sometimes there's just added context to certain things that it's helpful to understand some of the things that go on, whether it's preparation or in the plays or what happened, not to blast anybody or anything, but just for all the things that fans want to know happen during games. or in the off season, having that context is what helps bridge that gap with what you were
Yeah.
talking about, and being that conduit to the fans so that it's a win-win for everybody involved.
Yeah, I think I think there needs to be a solution as to where that outlet can be, where we can still develop those relationships, but also I think we can remove it from the locker room, but still maintaining an area where that all can happen.
Right.
And the Bourbonnais example, I think that's a great example of something that could be in a solution to that. But yeah, I think I hope you guys can understand where we're coming from as players, where I know everyone might think like, oh, look at this guy, this dude's 6'5", he's just like, what does he have to be ashamed of being in the lock? It's uncomfortable when you got guys who are changing. There's others that are not, and not partaking in the same type of deal. So I think that there can be a better solution to it. I hope you guys feel the same way, that there can be a solution to this issue. Although I don't, at least for speaking for our team, I don't think it's an issue of guys that have denied access to you guys ever. I mean, if that is the case, you guys speak up, and we make sure that we correct that.
It's happened in the past, but to my knowledge, there hasn't really been any big issues this season with the current group. And yeah, it's been this thing where over the last decade, it's like every single year we show up and there's this restriction down there. And so people understand, like, our media area that door is literally locked to the rest of the building.
Right.
We come in a separate entrance. We're on our side of the building, and that's fine. We're not part of the team. We don't need, but for the purposes of getting those types of interactions, like, there has to be some type of solution.
Absolutely.
Whether that's like during lunch period, I don't know, maybe we're allowed to be over there. We're allowed to come out of our cave where I've been staring at the same wall for 14 years. I do think there are solutions. I also just think, like, there's this fear from the PFWA side of things that it's, once we get shut out of the locker room, we're shut out altogether.
Yeah. I understand that. I just I would just say that I think I view the locker room as a sacred space, and a place where all the guys should feel comfortable changing and doing what they have to do in the locker room. And I think that's like the one spot in our building where we feel like that should be our own hangout spot. And we don't want other people, whether it's you guys, coaches, really anybody else, coming in and infiltrating on that area and making us feel uncomfortable in our own space.
Well, for the record, you can come hang out in the media room.
Okay. That's cool. I like
it. And also, to my knowledge, though, this is not going to apply to game day.
Correct.
Because game that's day, just a sort of hectic.
Yeah, and I think that's a little bit of a different scenario. Just because you guys are getting what you need pretty much right after the game.
Yeah.
We all understand that that's a little bit of a different scenario.
It's more of an in and out. I feel like most of you guys are dressed anyway by the time we get in there for
sure.
Game
yeah.
Day. So but just a little clarification on that.
Yeah, I think some people might have thought it was no locker room access at all.
Well, the way it came out last week, where it was this is all happening, there was definitely some clarification that was going on quickly behind the scenes, because everybody was worried about it. So we'll see where that goes now. For now, it is a well, first of all, we don't have to worry about this for 2 weeks because we're in London right now, and there is no locker room access this week, and then next week is a bye week. So we'll see how this all gets sorted out over the next couple weeks across the league. But for now, it sounds like we're still going to be allowed in the locker room, but some interviews, if they're requested, will happen outside, which I have no issue with that whatsoever. So anyway, again, I don't think anyone else is getting that conversation anymore.
No, this is a cool conversation. Yeah, this is a good conversation. Very unique.
All right, we will turn our attention to this game coming up this week. But first, got to thank our sponsors of the show, as always. The 85 with Cole Kmet is presented by Ankin Law. Howard Ankin, a third-generation lawyer in Chicago, has built one of the largest injury law firms in the state. Howard Ankin is a member of the Illinois State Bar Association, the Illinois Trial Lawyers Association, the American Association for Justice in Washington, D.C., and president of the UIC Law Alumni Association. Ankin Law has over 90 attorneys and staff based in Chicago, with offices right off of Dearborn in the city, as well as in Rosemont, Schaumburg, and Orland Park. the leading filer of workers' compensation and personal injury cases in Illinois. Inc. in Law practices areas such as auto, truck, and rideshare accidents, slip and fall, premises liability, workers' compensation, medical malpractice, Social Security disability, and wrongful death cases. And when it comes to our commercials, the Inc. in Law brand has been aligned with Chicago sports for over a decade now. We especially like to associate ourselves with Chicago athletes long associated with Chicago or from Chicagoland, such as Ayo Sumu, Nikki Lopez, and Chris Chelios. With an intake department of 16 people, including 2 attorneys, Inc. in Law takes the time to listen to the people who contact us. Even if we don't sign the case, we try to steer the people who contact us in the right direction to get the help they need. After all, Inc. in Law is injury law made personal. They're here to help. Visit incinlaw.com to learn more. And the 85 is also brought to you by Circa Sportsbook. Whether it's pro or college, the app to bet football is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Spreads, props, futures, or in-game, Circa Sports has it. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Cole, my first question to you that I want to hear about as we turn our attention to this game is, regardless of the opponent, what is different this week about the preparation? What extra hurdles might you guys have? Is there anything that's actually easier getting away from your building? Because you've kind of had to move Hallis Hall. A lot went into this, by the way, behind the scenes. And they've just your guys are out in the country, got some grass to practice on.
Yeah.
Hopefully the rain stays away.
Yeah, hopefully. But a lot goes into it. I think number one is adjusting our clocks to this time. So kind of getting set here, and that really starts today, and making sure you're staying up through the course of today, even though it's hard to do, and then getting good sleep tonight, and making sure that we're continually hydrating and doing all those type of things. And
Carm's over in the corner sleeping right now.
Yeah, I see him. Yeah, and he's hydrating. I'm not sure with what type of beverage, but he's hydrating.
He's got his afternoon tea.
Yeah, afternoon tea. Yeah, he's in it. And then what's different is we obviously don't have all the modalities that we have at Hallis Hall at our disposal here. So there's going to be some things that we got to work through with that. Like I'm a guy that likes to do hot tub, cold tub contrast before I got to practice. And that might be a little limited for me this week. And, I'm sure we'll have some hot tub, cold tub stuff, but it's not the same as having it at Hallis Hall. So those are like little things, and that might not seem like a lot, but all that stuff kind of helps you prep for the week and helps get your body right going into the game. So there's a lot of those hurdles that we got to be able to overcome, making sure that we're staying on our eating schedule properly, eating the right stuff. But those are all things that that come with traveling for the whole week. I do think it's a positive that we came earlier just to get our clocks right. And I've heard from guys who've left Thursday to play in the Sunday game, and they feel a little sluggish playing on that Sunday afternoon. So I'm definitely glad that we came early here. But a few challenges over the course of the week that'll be here, but I don't think it's anything that we can't handle.
Yeah, it's easy to say after losing a London game to be like, they should have come out earlier. But I really, going back to 2019, I really, like, from the time we found out that the team wasn't coming out until Thursday night, landing Friday morning.
And usually if you're doing that, you're practicing right off the plane.
That's what they do.
And it's crazy.
This is a true story. I happened to be out walking around on a street that morning. Long story. My bag actually got lost here the last time we came here on the way over.
I'll keep an eye out for it this time.
Yeah. We're good. We got the bags. We got the bags. Okay. Last time the bag was lost. I had to go to a store to literally buy clothes to go cover practice.
Oh, wow.
And I was walking down the street, and the Bears buses happened to be driving by, and I could actually see some of the players in the windows, and they just looked dead. I mean, they probably felt like you guys feel right now.
Right.
But by the way, you got to go practice your one practice in London.
Yeah, you go practice, then turn around and go play. It's just it's tough.
It just seemed like it was really tough, and the Raiders in that game came out. Now, Flus talked about this week, that there's really no numbers that prove one way or is better than the other, because teams have come out later in the week and won. Both teams last week came out later in the week, and obviously one of them had to win the game, but the Vikings looked pretty good as they moved to 5-0. So, I don't know if it really makes a difference, but just from my experience being out here last time and then seeing how you guys are doing it this time, just seems to make more sense to me.
And I do think having the bye week at the back end of it also helps that as well, where you can just be like, okay, we're gonna go all out for the week, and then we're off. Whereas I think if maybe if we were playing this game and you had a road game coming back, like you might be thinking about, all right, do we want to spend that much time away from home? Like there's all those type of things that I'm sure you're thinking about. But I'm definitely glad we came out here early and get adjusted. And I mean, selfishly, I wanted to check out London a little bit too. And I think we got a really mature group, so I'm confident that we'll all make really good decisions here throughout the course of the week. But yeah, I'm excited just to be able to check out the city and then get adjusted here as well.
Yeah, we need to actually wrap up the show so you can go do that.
Yeah.
Real quick, do you have any friends on the Jaguars who have to spend 2 weeks here? By the way, could you imagine having to do that?
I couldn't.
Back to back.
I couldn't. I'd hope they have a good setup if that's what they're doing. I think this is also an interesting conversation of at what point are they moving here? Like, I mean, come on. I think that'd be kind of cool to have a team across the pond, and especially here in this city. But
what if you're the player on that team though? Think about the road trips.
Yeah, I was thinking, but I think about Seattle. Like when Seattle has to make road trips, like when they're coming to us, like that's no joke either.
Yeah.
So I mean, think about if you'd assume if there was a team here, they'd play a lot of their games in the East Coast, and I'm sure that they'd have a home base set up in the U.S. where they're playing a couple games.
It's a good point.
In the U.S. and then they're back here for a little.
Teams already do that. Who was it a couple weeks ago? State in Arizona.
Oh yeah, teams do this all the time. Yeah,
it was actually the Commanders.
Okay.
Jaden. Because Jaden Daniels was back practicing at ASU. That was the storyline before they played Arizona.
So they were out west for 2 weeks.
And I know Belichick used to love to do that with the Patriots. He would actually talk to the league. Hey, can we get 2 games back to back out west?
Oh, really?
And they would stay out there.
Yeah.
And people use the Greenbrier in West Virginia all the time when West teams are coming east. So it's already sort of a thing. And yeah, selfishly, I think it'd be cool to have a team in London.
I think it'd be awesome. I mean, obviously, then you have to get in the semantics of do you have to add more teams or how that works divisionally, or are you just kind of moving one team over? And if it's like the Jaguars and they just kind of stay in their division, how that all works out. But yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of opportunity here, and it seems like the fandom across, in England and in Germany and Spain and all that stuff has really grown. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes over the next few years.
Well, you guys are going to see it this week. The Bears fans. I mean,
they show out.
It's quiet today because there's not a lot of them here yet. It's Tuesday, but this city is going to be overrun by Bears fans.
Very excited,
and we got a lot of events this week that we're excited about. It's going to be really cool. Let's talk about the keys to the game, though, as we talk about the Jaguars a little bit more. Presented by Circus Sports. Download the Circus Sports Illinois app at circusports.com/Illinois-app. What are the keys to getting that win this week?
Yeah, well, I feel like I talk about this every week, but for offense, that run game's got to travel. So we got to be able to bring that everywhere we go, whatever the weather conditions may be. So that's something that we got to be able to lean on, and something that we've continued to grow over the past couple of weeks, and thing that we got to continue to do. And I think you saw that open up a lot of things down the field for us in the screen game as well, off of that run game. So we got to continue to run the ball really well. The more goal line packages to see, the happier I get. I think those are a lot of fun. So hopefully we get down to the 1 or 2 yard line.
You guys had a lot last week.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, it's like we're a goal line team. Like it's our base formation at this point. But no, those are always really fun to knock those in like that. Obviously with the kicking game, I don't know what the conditions are at the field, but I'm sure it's nice with the soccer. Those type of they take really good care of those grass fields. So
I believe it's turf.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that.
No. So they have. It's really cool technology. They have. I forget if it's. I feel like it's almost like the grass goes over the turf, which sounds like it would be the other way around. Regardless, when they play English Premier, when Tottenham plays there, it's grass.
Okay.
But when the NFL games are there, it's actually turf.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah.
So turf it is then.
They're able to. I think the Raider Stadium can do that same thing.
Okay.
2 different surfaces.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So obviously kicking game's gonna be big there and all that type of stuff. And then defensively, I know a big focus for them this week is getting that run average down and stopping the run. So and I think if we can do all 3 of those things, we'll like the result of the game this weekend.
Yeah. Well, It's going to be fun regardless.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
So, and the stadium is awesome. The atmosphere, commonly in the past, players say like, and I would even say this from covering the game in 2019, it feels more like a Super Bowl-esque atmosphere than just a regular season game.
Yeah.
So I think when you guys get in that stadium on Sunday and start to feel that, like the juices are going to be going even more than normal.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I heard they go nuts anytime the ball's in the air because they just see the ball in the air, whether it's a punt or a throw, and the fans are going crazy, which is hilarious. So looking forward to that.
Well, they'll like Torrey Taylor.
Yeah, they like Cairo. Yeah,
they want the ball being kicked.
Yeah,
they'll be used to that.
Yeah.
You got a question for me to close
out?
Well,
my question was, when do you think that, or will they at all? Will they bring a team over here? Do you think in the near future? And if so, who do you think it is? I think we'd all think it would be Jacksonville, but
I mean, Jacksonville makes a lot of sense because the owner already owns soccer teams out here. Yes is my answer.
You do think you think it happens in the next 5 years?
I don't know about 5,
10,
maybe 10.
10. I could see 10.
Definitely 15. Somewhere like that. I mean, is there? I almost feel like there's gonna be a time where there's like an international division.
I would think, yeah, you would think so.
And that kind of solves some of the travel problems if they're at least playing 3 of their road games every year here in Europe.
Right. And then they play some East Coast teams, and you kind of chalk it up to that. Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, now what happens if they asked you to cover one of the teams over? Would you do it?
Oh, my wife was just in the room. I don't know.
We'll you get a hefty pay raise too. So I'd just say no.
I love London.
Yeah, so London would be cool. London would be cool.
LNDN. We could get it done.
I love it.
Let's go. I'll help launch LNDN.
I love it.
See you, Carm. Greg.
That's good stuff.
You guys are on your own.
All right. Well, I'm going to get back to the streets here. Thanks for intercepting me when I was walking by. This worked out really well, even with all the technical difficulties.
Can we just get like one power adapter that works universally? Can we solve that problem first?
Yeah, that's crazy too. But again, appreciate you guys listening. Cool episode here from London. Was cool to bring this to you guys. And we'll see you. I think we'll do a little something for the bye week.
Might be abbreviated.
Very abbreviated for the bye week. Give you guys a break from us, and then we'll be back the following week. So appreciate you guys, and let's do this thing on Sunday.
And the 85 is powered by Ankin Law. Injury law made personal. They're here to help. Visit AnkinLaw.com.